Hey friendos, how's it going? It's the Enforcer here. Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys taking a bit of your day to join me. And I just wanted to get a little bit of my thoughts out there in terms of the coverage of ESPN and TNT. So far, like this week, the National Hockey League has had their opening face-off, their opening bunch of games. On Tuesday, you had Tampa Bay raise their second of their back-to-back championships up to the rafters, and then also in the second game, ESPN had the first ever regular season Seattle Kraken game. They played the other newest team starting their fifth season, the Vegas Golden Knights. And then the next night they had or TNT had their coverage on Wednesday night. I know a lot of the friendos out there didn't get their AEW fix because the NHL games were on TNT, and sadly that's one of the reasons why at the beginning of I think in January in 2022 Dynamite's going to be moving to TBS. Now I want to touch on ESPN first, and first and foremost, the comeback of the iconic theme song from the mid '90s all the way until they lost the rights, I believe in 2003, 2004, somewhere around there. The rights went to OLN, the Outdoor Life Network. Then that turned into Versus. Then NBC bought it, turned it into NBC Sports. But anyway, it had been 17 years since we had heard that on a National Hockey League game. And I know that was one of my personal favorite theme songs of any sports. That one really got me pumped for hockey. So it was nice to see that one back. They remixed it a little bit, but didn't mess with it too much. So I appreciate that they had that, and it sounded really, really good. First, they had their intermission, their pregame, their postgame show for the first game. They had Mark Messier and what was it? Steve Levy was out there with someone else, and I wasn't really feeling that that vibe. Chris Chelios was out there as well. Sorry, Chris Chelios, I could forget him. But he was out there, and they were all outside of Amalie Arena talking about the game and all that. I always find that these groups of talking heads always need a bit of time to gel. So the first one just seemed very awkward. They weren't sure when one person was done with their train of thought, when to jump in with the next one, and all that stuff. So I'm going to give it time. But one thing I will say, I really enjoyed the ESPN presentation of how they brought the games. And a couple of things I want to touch on. Their overlays looked extremely clean, very good. I'm not one of these people that get bothered by the overlays on the ice. Like, I know that there are a lot of people when there would be local games when you would see the like the sports book or something superimposed on the back ice or whatever. I don't mind that there is a power play clock on the ice that they put on there, or ice time, or doing any of that stuff. I don't mind any of that stuff. I was the guy that in the when Fox had the coverage, when they had the glow puck, I didn't mind that at all. I understand that these are gimmicks, and sometimes you need gimmicks to get people to watch your product at the beginning. So I have no problem with gimmicks. That's what TV has to do to stand out now. You got to have a gimmick. If you're just going to show the game, as much as I appreciate you showing the game, you're going to lose a lot of people along the way. That all helps people understand what's going on, and sort of puts focus back on. It's like, why is there a counter here? Oh, there's a power play going on. Okay, let's see how this thing goes. So I appreciate that, especially since ESPN hasn't had it for a long time. TNT hasn't had it ever. This is the first time that they're having it. So they're on channels that this sport hasn't been on, and they're just trying to clue people in. Normally, people are watching on ESPN. They're watching the basketball coverage. TNT also. They're watching the basketball coverage. They're used to a certain way that it's fed to them. So I got no issue with that. But the one thing that I think that ESPN really shined in was they had this one thing where it almost felt like you were watching a video game play. They used to have this old camera where it would be off to the side instead of like a top-down head-to-head, and it almost seemed like they had a camera on a cable, and it was following the action as it went, and I really dug that. But the one thing that I really dug that ESPN did was that they did a thing, I think it was called On the Rush. I think it's On the Rush, it might be In the Rush. Comment down below if I've got it wrong, but I really liked how the announcers didn't say a word for a good long stretch. And for hockey, a good long stretch is 2 or 3 minutes, where you heard the whoosh, whoosh, the blades hitting the ice, the sticks hitting the ice, people hitting up against the boards, hearing the call outs, hearing all of the ambiance of the game, much like when you're there. I really like that little touch. And then there were one other thing on top of this On the Rush, which I'm a big fan of. I hope they bring that for every game, and that sort of cable camera that was just showing the action on the side just sort of slid with wherever the play was on. The puck was always in the middle of the screen, and this camera was following the play along. I really dug that. But the other thing that I really dug was I think there was a power play in one of these games, and instead of having the camera, which they normally do, which is the one that's behind the goalie on the boards, so you could just sort of see, and then it would pivot around. What they did was, it seemed like they took a camera from the other side where the well is, where normally the still photographers would be in. It seemed like they put the camera right in there, and you got this ice level angle all the way from the other side, and you really got to see play develop, players going in front of it, and all that. You really got this like depth of the game going on. So I really appreciated what they did with that. So ESPN, if you can keep on going with the how you're shooting the game. I loved Buchagras on the Kraken and Golden Knights game for the second game that they had on opening night. Really dug them. And it's just going to be a lot of gelling, especially for the in-studio people, and then that's where I'm going to get into the TNT. So ESPN, keep going with that. Really digging that. A lot more games on ESPN Plus. So if you're one of those guys or gals that had the Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN bundle, and if you've already got ESPN, go on and check out a game there. You're going to get a lot of out-of-market games. You're not getting, this is not a plug, you're going to get a lot of out-of-market games. Not all of them. You're going to get select games, but I think every night you're going to get a game or two. Like right now, there was intermission for the Golden Knights against the Kings. That's why I decided to shoot this video right now. I had a little bit of downtime. And real quickly, TNT, I don't have much to say other than 2 points. It seems like, one, they just basically took the infrastructure for what NHL on NBC had, and it just seemed like they just migrated it right on over to TNT, slapped the TNT logos, and went ahead and presented you the game the same way. They had a lot of the same talking heads. They had a lot of the same announcers from NBC Sports, and it just seems like they're on TNT now. Which is fine. I had no issues with that, but it just seems like they just sort of, okay, here's the hockey. Now where we're going to get you with the gimmicks is the pre-show and the intermission report and the post-show. So I watched all of that, the post-show for the second game after I think Colorado played Chicago. After Chicago and Colorado played. That's the one I always see, and if you guys are fans of Inside the NBA, you always know whenever there's a doubleheader, you always want to watch the post-game show, the Inside the NBA, if you can, because they're in Atlanta. Usually the game ends at like 1 in the morning in Atlanta time, and you got these guys who have been awake for a while, just sort of almost acting like like they're just running on just like they don't want to be awake, but yet they're forced to be awake, and then it's just a lot of like silly talk, guys not really making much sense. You're seeing the sleepy eyes, and man, did I see that on Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky is now a part of the TNT pre-show, intermission, and post-game show, I think, along with Rick Tocchet, Anson Carter. The one guy, I forget, he was basically the anchor for NBC, NHL on NBC. And then one other guy, I forget. He had some cool looking hair. I forget the names of these guys. But one thing with Wayne Gretzky, it just seemed like he was just there to be almost like, we always make this joke when we were reviewing wrestling, like he was the greeter. He was the guy, oh, it's great to have you guys here at SmackDown. Oh, isn't it great that you're going to see these guys match up against these guys? Oh, isn't it great to be in whatever city we're in today? Oh, yeah, all right. Just seemed like Wayne Gretzky was just like, oh, it's great for everybody to be back on the ice. It's great that the team's out there, la, la, la. Every once in a while, he would have a stat or a story, but he just seemed like he was just like, hey, I'm the guy here and I'm all good. And I hope that kind of changes, because I really want, especially with the way TNT has Inside the NBA, where you got EJ, you've got Shaq, you've got Chuck, and you got Kenny. And they're, of course it's taken so many years for them to gel together and work together. I really hope they have a nucleus of that going on, and I hope that over time they gel and really get together, because it seemed like a lot of them didn't know where to stand when they weren't behind the desk. It seemed like they were like looking for direction off of camera, which is fine because it's the first night and they're all trying to figure it out. They're trying to give a good impression and make sure they're giving what the producers and the directors want. I understand that. So hopefully that gets better, that gets cleaned up a bit. But first time out, I appreciated what they did. And I look forward to what's going on in the future. Really excited that ESPN and TNT have the TV rights in the States. I believe everything is held serve up in Canada with their TV rights and who has the channels and whatnot. But then looking forward, and I'm always glad that there's more eyes that can be. Oh man, hopefully I don't sneeze. If I do, apologies. I really hope that this will, because it's on ESPN that is known for sports, TNT known for sports as well. Hopefully it'll put more eyeballs onto the product. More people can fall in love with the game that captivated me and I've fallen in love with when I was 14 or 15, and still continue in a city that really prefers to have their baseball, their basketball, their football, whether it's American football or soccer as it's called here. I really hope hockey grows in a lot of markets, and I'm going to say 2 points before I'm going to let you guys go. I appreciate you guys just listen to me just do train of thought here. 2, I hear that it's very difficult if you're in Seattle, that the channel, I believe it's Root Sports, that has the Kraken games. It's very difficult to watch Kraken games locally because that's a channel that does not every cable system offers, and I feel that is a shame. You are chopping yourself at the knees by having a brand new franchise and not having an avenue to push this out to families, out to kids, out to people that you want to grow this sport, and head to this new arena, head to the old Key Arena that they've redone, and really be fans and understand the game that they're watching. So I think that's a bad play, but I also understand how TV deals are, especially with local ones, and there's a lot of TV providers that don't want to spring for one channel that's going to have one sport and not everybody's going to watch. I get that, but it just sucks if you hear that the Kraken are in town, or the Kraken are new. All right, how do I watch it? Well, you either got to have DirecTV, or you got to have a VPN and then have ESPN Plus and spoof where you're at, or you got to have the NHL TV and then still run through a VPN and do all it's or illegal streams or whatnot, you know. And that's not the way to install a fan base. And hopefully more people in Seattle can watch their Kraken games locally in market and not have to go through other means, because there are people that are willing to know how to do that, but there are a lot of other ones that just won't go through the trouble, won't go through the bother, and then you've already lost them. So hopefully that can be addressed. And then I believe the last one, I was watching the Wings and Tampa, and I was excited after we finished Smash Zone. I was watching a little bit of the game, but I stayed off of the phone after the first period. And about the third period, I saw that the Wings were actually up. And then when I went to wash up and all that, they had scored another goal, and Bertuzzi had 4 of those goals. Larkin opened up the scoring on captain's night. Was feeling good. I was like, okay, here we go, baby. We're gonna do it. The Wings are gonna get a nice big a win on opening night on home ice. Gonna be a big momentum builder for beating the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions. And then basically they become the sieve that they've been for the last 5 years. It's just bad goal, bad defensive play, hustle by the other team, manufacturing a goal. The way that Cicerelli just basically stopped, I forget who the wing was that could not complete that pass, that broke up the pass, basically went to a Tampa Bay guy. He throws it to the guy in the middle, in the slot. Nobody in front of the net. And you could just, I could just see the writing on the wall. These fools are going to fold. And you always saw there was no panic, nothing like that from Tampa Bay. They're like, okay, there's still 5 minutes here. We're down by 2. No big deal. They crank out another one, and then you're like, oh no. And then they tie it. And now at this point for 2 minutes, I'm holding my breath hoping, damn, I hope we can at least get a point. Push it to overtime. There's right off the bat, 2 minutes. Detroit doesn't touch the puck at all. The core that's out there on 3-on-3 is gassed, and then they make a play the other way, and then Tampa it puts them out of their misery. We don't even get a shootout, which honestly I feel great for Bertuzzi getting 4 goals. Feel good for Larkin before he had to leave the game because he got injured, to be acknowledged. We got to acknowledge him as the captain, and then the Wings do what the Wings do. But anyway, it's just the first game of the season, 81 more to go. So either 81 more games of this, or this is just, they got to know that, hey man, you got to play a full 60. You got to play a full 60. But yeah, they're young, they're scrappy. I look forward to watching them because for, man, about the last 3 years, it has been tough to watch the Wings play. I am not gonna lie, it has been difficult. I was excited for what I saw until I wasn't, and then I felt, okay, this is what the last couple years have been. But anyway, we'll see. It's early. It's just the first couple nights of games. Well, anyway, friendos, thank you so much for listening to me just drone on about what I thought about the coverage from ESPN and TNT on that road to 1,000 subs. I got 912 or so. Less than 100 is needed to get to that 1,000 subs. So once again, friendos, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one. You guys take care. Have a good one. Bye.